Welcome back to all of my Unbothered family. This is going to be part 2 of how the Moors ran the South. If you have not listened to part 1, you might want to pause, go back, listen, and then come back to this video. I don't want you to get lost. Now, abolitionist John Brown was also a black man that fought to end slavery in the South. The Post images also reveal that these following people were black Republicans. Take note: William Pitt Kellogg, U.S. Republican Senator and Governor of Louisiana; James L. Alcorn, 28th Governor of Mississippi and U.S. Republican Senator; Alfred Eliab Buck, U.S. Republican Senator of Alabama; Charles Memorial Hamilton, U.S. Republican Senator of Florida; Samuel F. Gove, U.S. Republican Senator of Georgia; Benjamin Franklin Whitmore, U.S. Republican Senator of South Carolina; Christopher C. Bowen, U.S. Republican Senator of South Carolina; Henry R. Peace, U.S. Republican Senator of Mississippi. And I can go on and on and on. Notice, all of these black men were Republicans. But let me continue. Now, the images that were included in this post were taken by a Mr. Matthew B. Grady between the years of 1822 and 1896, who was an American photographer and one of the earliest in American history, best known for his Civil War portraits. He studied under inventor Samuel F. B. Morse, who pioneered the daguerreotype technique in America. Okay? Are you guys still with me? Now, how do you explain all of these black and more Republicans, presidents, senators, and congressmen during this time period before the Civil War, if so-called blacks were slaves? The overthrow did not just happen in North Carolina. This happened to Moors everywhere in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Because even after all of the first major land grabs of our lands, we still had the majority of the American land. This event happened in 1898 in Wimbledon, North Carolina. You see, how the poor whites were the Democrats at first, and blacks were the prominent rich liberal Republicans at first, right? Yes, white Europeans have switched places with the Moors. White people were even black, which meant pale, at first, and Moors were white, which meant pure race. White Europeans took the title of white after the 1870 Reconstruction Act. White people just recently started calling themselves white with the Naturalization Act of 1790, which was amended in 1870. White is a status, and it has nothing to do with color. Please look up free white persons in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Read also The Invention of the White Race by Theodore W. Allen, or you can watch it on YouTube. The Democrats were the Klansmen that got jealous and took everything, which is the custom of the jealous, poor Europeans. The same thing happened during the Red Summer of 1919, which is considered to be a riot. But it was actually a race war. More examples of this jealous European behavior are Black Wall Street and Rosewood, all of which were prominent black and more establishments that were destroyed by jealous, poor whites. The evidence provided in this post proves beyond a doubt that the Moors used to be the Republicans because the de jure republic belonged to the Moors, the Hebrews, Indians, Egyptians, all one and the same people. How do you explain this? Well, the Moors owned over 80% of America, all the way up into the Red Summer of 1913, which is also listed as a riot. The cause of the Great Depression was when the Moors, who owned most of the banks during this point in time, had stopped doing business with the United States. Also around this time, Prophet Noble Drew Ali had put 75% of the America landmass, which is Wichita County territory, in an ecclesiastical religious trust. The Moors that owned banks and the Prophet pulled out of the United States Corporation around the same time. So best believe that was a coordinated financial war that our ancestors had waged, which caused the Great Depression. If these Moors were freed slaves, how do you explain their rise to power in such a short period of time during these racist times? Yes, your history is a lie, and it means his story because he won the war and wrote the book in his image. Every historian needs to be arrested and charged with treason. The hate of the Moors stems from popular people banging on the Moors like Young Pharaoh, General Seti, Dane Calloway, Corremio, Condra, etc., etc. In fact, you all were fed misinformation about the Moors, since it came from people who were biased towards the Moors, due to a lack of knowledge on their end, of course. Moor means land. According to the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, Moor also means light and guardians of Osiris. Ethiopia Superior, also known as Tamiri, aka Abyssinia, the Americas, was called Mooran land, according to definition, which makes perfect sense because Tamiri means land of the Moors. Evidence that America is Ethiopia Superior, the land of the Moors, or the country of the Moors, can also be found in a blog post, America's is the Old World. The Moors were running the American government as the Continental Congress up until when the real George Washington, a black man, was unalived and replaced by Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati. Adam Weishaupt made an interesting comment, too, about removing the fezzes and the sandals of the Moors. The real George Washington was a Moor that was put in power by the Moors, because if you create a government, the United States, like the Moors did, you put one of your own in power to oversee your creation. When the Moorish government was overthrown by George Washington, aka Adam Weishaupt, when he chopped down his father's cherry tree, the cherry tree that Adam Weishaupt chopped down was Old Glory, the Moroccan flag. George Washington is documented saying, if we would agree to take the fezzes and the turbans off the Moors' heads and remove the sandals from their feet and enforce it with severe punishments, and also swear a death oath between ourselves to religiously and faithfully not allow anyone to teach the Moorish children whom they really are or who their forefathers were, and only allow the Moorish children to be taught that they were truly Negroes, black people, and colored folks. George Washington stated that 200 years from today, the Moorish people would not know their nationality nor the national name of their forefathers. Also, they would not know from which land or ancestors that they descended from. Sound familiar? In this post, a $100 US coin of the original Statue of Liberty. This gold coin was approved in 2017 as the official US currency. Yes, the original Statue of Liberty was the image of the Moorish black Muslim woman. The image of the Moor's head is very powerful in history, and it served as a family brand or logo. Lady Liberty is also the ancient Egyptian goddess Isis, Mother Mary, Maya, Meru, and the Greek, aka Greek goddess Columbia. Columbia was just the poetic name for the Americas, and the name Columbia precedes Christopher Columbus by far. Please read more about the Greek goddess Columbia in the post, Who Were the Moors in Ancient Times. Don't worry, I'll cover that for you guys next. Now, people that continue to hate the Moors are either agents or religious zealots for their own personal faith or belief system. The Black European Templar Christians, or Catholics, that invaded the Americas were not Moors because they hated Muslims. The invasion was a result of a long series of holy wars, aka crusades, between Muslims and Jews versus Christians and Catholics. Yes, the crusades were fought on both sides of the world, but mostly in the Americas, since America is the promised land. The Americas was Muslim Jerusalem, aka Granada land. Therefore, it is ridiculous to suggest the Moors willfully invaded their own promised land in the Americas when we have the Dum Diverses of 1452 issued by the Pope and the Edict of the Worms issued by the Black Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, which banned Islam in the late 1400s, proves that this was certainly not the case, since the Dum Diverses authorized Christian Templars to take land, wealth, and possessions of Saracens, Moors, and pagans. Well, guys, I hope that you guys were able to get the education that you needed out of part 2. Feel free to leave your comments. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to give the video a thumbs up. And I'm always open to feedback. Other than that, please continue to remain unbothered.